Best champions to use with Ouchy Masteries. Hello everybody, welcome to what seems to be a Mastery Day video extravaganza. So of course things take time to produce something like this, so we've got some information to go over and go off of even. So if you've seen today's video earlier today, we did like different types of mastery options. I thought I'd put together a video which has a long amount of champions, 65 champions that can go well with having Ouchy Masteries, and we're going to talk through a bit of it, and of course welcome you to go to the link in the description. Go and check out the kind of like infographic kind of guide as it were. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to people in the community who came out to this particular community tab. Check out the community tab from time to time because we do ask questions, you know, which champions go well, or some of the best to go with Ouchy Masteries. This really helps because here's the thing: if any content creator thinks that they're the font of all knowledge, they think they know a lot about the game. Nope, do bear in mind there is hundreds of thousands of players of this game that have a lot of experience, and you know, I can come up with ideas, but then if I also ask the question to everyone else, then of course I get the feedback from you guys, and we can make this a really cool guide and add in that information to make it a nice well-rounded piece. So thanks very much to everybody that gets involved. Also, shout out to MCC Avenger, which I've put a link to in the description. This is from his Twitter, and he puts together these amazing infographics. In particular, the one that we're giving some reference to is this section right here of you know, double immunities from those that are poison and those that are bleed. So kind of like you know, something that kind of goes between the two there. And of course there's other ones that come in the banner of poison and bleed, and the reason that this is important is because of this mastery. If I just switch to my loadout right here, so this is my current arena farming and Ouchy mastery kind of usage in different content. The reason they call it that is because basically you're going to lose health as a result of this. Yes, there is ways to top up that by having regeneration and well, recovery and salve for that. It's always debatable whether or not if you're kind of doing arena farming that you'd have, I don't know, all-in offense. But again, that's another topic for another time. And look, how you want to set up your masteries is up to you. It's a very specific thing. Some people get really I don't know, MCOC Andy about this when they're being a bit, you know, a bit too kind of like expertish. But look, each to their own with how they set up their masteries. But I'm going to be referring to this right here: Liquid Courage and Double Edge. In a nutshell, poison and bleed. You're going to, when you get into the fight, start to poison and bleed. If you got something like willpower on, it's helpful. And this is the thing, isn't it? The detract away from going, okay, well, I'm going to go full offense into full offense with nothing in defense to go, hey, you're going to lose health. You're going to see the tick of damage. I need something to top back that up or keep it very much kind of like, you know, I'm not dying. And that's why it's called like Ouchy Masteries. So we will, whilst it's free, use said Ouchy Masteries, which you can see is going to pop up in any second. Well, why is it not popping up? That's right, this champion is immune to both. See, we cleverly put this together where it's like, okay, well, top left hand corner, yeah, I will recoil, which I did right there, but I did not take any damage, or I wasn't taking any damage. So what else, you know, for people that aren't knowing of the situation? So I've got Nick Fury right here. You can see top left hand corner. I am taking damage, small amount. I'm regenning a little bit, but of course I've got this bleed and poison effect on me right now. There's going to be champions that interact with that in a way that's going to be seen as, well, you know, immunity, which you just saw, and others that will just purify. So we'll look at some options that are good for both that particular situation. So on screen right now with the red arrow is various different types of champions that have either, and as I've put right here, single immunity or immune to poison and bleed. So both. I'll probably rephrase it to being both by the time you see this. So there's some great champions for this. Do bear in mind, recoil damage will mean that you'll be like, well, do I want to SP1 or SP2 rotate, depending on the situation? There are some champions out there that kind of like, they are not just about, look, if you've got Ouchy Masteries, just do SP3s, which for the good chunk of it, it's like, Do I want to lose health? Do an SP3. That means that recoil won't be kind of like too much of an issue for you. So what's fun about this is choosing some of these various champions to take on that particular content based on having Liquid Courage and Double Edge, Bleed or Poison. Onslaught is a brand new champion which is absolutely, he's just beautiful. I want one. I really do. Maybe one day. Iceman, double immunity. Warlock, double immunity. I'd say with Warlock, him and Black Widow Clairvoyant are two champions that really benefit from the switch of masteries. You've got double immunity with Warlock. You've got with Black Widow Clairvoyant this ability to switch between different curses. Different curses means she's immune to stuff. The same way that you could have, I don't know, effective shrug off of a poison effect with the likes of King Groot. King Groot has a single immunity in the shape and form of bleed. He's immune to bleed, but he can shrug it off because the Fury acts as a kind of a purification. Now, we'll talk about purification in a minute, but there are some really cool other options that are kind of a bit sneaky. Now, one of the sneaky ones which I really love and I am so excited to use with this particular mastery is going to be Omega Sentinel, who we have on the screen right now. She's one of two champions just going to profile at the moment, which is, as part of her cybernetic nanotech, she allows her to take no damage from bleed and poison effects and granting her immunity to the regen reduction from poison. So that's something that's really cool. When inflicted with the bleed or poison effect, Omega Sentinel gains a self-repair buff, healing 20% of missing health over 10 seconds. So yeah, right, that's really effective. There's another champion that plays similar into that one, and that is Hercules. I'd say from a utility perspective and from an offense perspective, utility being that kind of Omega Sentinel, she really benefits from this. I've got her as an ascended champion. I use her a lot on Alliance Wars, and I think she's incredibly effective. Same thing with Hercules, an incredibly well-respected Ouchy Mastery option, especially because, again, similar premise to what we've just read, which is blessing bestowed on incoming bleed effects reduced down by 50%, and strong resilience, conventional, blah 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 blah, potency in incoming poison effects by 15%, and makes the recovery reduction from poison 20% less effective. So look, there's some interaction by right there with that particular champion, and there's a few other champions that kind of exist like that, but those two are some really decent options. Taking a moment to talk about science, there's a lot of science-based options. A lot of the Hulks, again, have that kind of poison immunity. Immortal Hulk, which I don't have up high at the moment, but I can assure you it is a fantastic option. It's right there. It's a fantastic option for Ouchy Masteries, and something down the line I'll probably look to shift to if I'm looking to do a lot of questing with those particular options. You got Hulks, SP3 rotate in order to save health, maybe. The Overseer, again, same principle, similar principle that you may want to SP3 rotate, which a champion does great damage from an SP3 rotation. Sticking with science, and you could look to Sandman, which has a bleed immunity, and again is another fantastic option as well. Scorpion could be another one. I didn't put it in the kind of 65 champions that I've kind of shortlisted, but it's definitely an option. Immortal Abomination is one of those options because it interacts with poison and can really ramp up the damage really quickly with Ouchy Masteries as well. And there's a few others that dot around in science. I think that Cassie Lang might be a good one because she's poison immune, but I guess that just depends on your rotation preference with the champion. I did put her in the list, but again, it's down to a personal preference if you feel that's the case. From a mystic perspective, going into any different bits of content, of course, we talked about Black Widow. Werewolf by Night's a cool option. Kushala I've put as an iffy option, and I think that's just because I don't really know a huge amount about the champion, but because of, I think she's got a bleed immunity, if correct me if I'm wrong, definitely would provide a decent option to kind of like help out. Right there, I just scrolled past it. I did say bleed. Sometimes I've got to back myself because sometimes I know what I'm doing. I'll know what I'm saying with things. But yes, there's a ton of options. I would highly rate Absorbing Man if I forgot to mention him already, which I should have brought up a bit higher for this particular video's coverage. But yeah, there's kind of like a decent option. So many different options. Corvus Glaive, things that could really kind of like ramp up your damage. And one thing that I forgot to mention as well, just added to some of the various specific basic kind of poison and bleed type immunity or kind of interaction based thing, Hulk Buster is a fantastic option. One of my old OG favorite champions, which is fighting non-cosmics. Incoming bleed and poison debuffs suffer minus 25% potency. It's not as I don't think it's as good as, say, Mega Sentinels, and kind of on par-ish with Hercules, but you know, you get the idea with that one. There's also a few kind of like obscure ones, like Elsa Bloodstone, the way that if she's bleeding, then she kind of poisons, she degens the enemy and kind of punishes back. Similar situation for Cable, which I don't know if I've got one up high to kind of like get to as quickly as I need to. There he is. Cable, if he's inflicted with a bleed debuff and how he responds to that. It's another great option as well. And yeah, there's so many others. I mean, look, you can look to the skill line for cleanse passives and purifying, whether or not it's Kingpin, whether or not it's Baron Zemo, whether or not it's Mole Man. So again, the point is to get rid of those bleeds and poisons, and also kind of like look to maximize damage potency, and get to rotations quicker. Whether or not you're rooting, you're bleeding with the likes of Baron Zemo, whether or not you're looking to just do a lot of damage with the likes of Crossbones, for example. The list goes on with so many different options. They vary. There are some like interesting ones. I've put a few iffy options at the bottom here with Mantis and Luke Cage. Colossus works. I mean, at the end of the day, Ghost with Ouchy Masteries is one of the best. It's just a case of just swipe back, go into phase, and then it's just smack. Yeah, just hold smack. Just destroy, really, an SP2, and it's done. Omega Red's another option. You've also got reflecting damage with Namor, and you've got Kitty Pryde. Similar situation with Ghost, not exactly, but similar. And then finally, when you've got Aegon, which of course after a certain amount of combos banked, that you're able to shrug off any debuff effect and literally just do a lot of damage. Should I have used that switch for Ouchy Masteries in Necropolis? Maybe. But I was SP2 rotating, and as a lot of you know, if you're SP rotating with Aegon and you're using deep wounds, then it's not really going to be something that's going to work out. However, though, that has been it for the video. That's been 65 champions you can use quite happily with Ouchy Masteries. Who did I miss off? Put it in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. Check out the spreadsheet if you're interested, and also check out some other content located on the screen. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.